Hey YouTube, welcome back to the Casual Athlete. It's Biz here, and today I'm going to be deep diving into two players that everyone's talking about this week. That's Morgan Smithies and Terrell May. Now, we covered them at quite a bit of length in our buy, hold, sell video earlier this week. I said that I would be getting Terrell May over Smithies, but since then, I've done a DCE to the Titan style backflip. I've actually locked in Smithies into my team this week. And I want to go through both these players and the pros and cons of each. And I think a lot of you are probably getting one of them into your side this week. So hopefully this video helps you in deciding which one. Some of you are getting both, or some of you have one already and you're getting the other one in. So that's a great position to be in. I think they're both great picks. But so Smithies versus May, very, very different type of players. With Smithies, you've got a guy who is both young guys with not much NRL experience. With Smithies, you've got a workhorse. Think like David Staggs, Sean Fensom, Ash Harrison, Nathan Hindmarsh, these kind of guys who are racking up 55 to 60 points because they played big minutes in the middle and they tackle everything. So Smithies, you saw in the first game, 68 minutes, 52 points, purely off pretty much 46 odd tackles in 100 meters, no tackle breaks, no offloads, no attacking stats. The thing about Smithies is he's got a pedigree of being a workhorse. I saw a statistic that in his debut or something, he played 62 minutes and he had 72 tackles. And if you were watching this guy in his first game, he was tracking all over the park to make a tackle. A couple of Hindy style third man in flops just to get his stats up, but it all counts for fantasy, right? And I think the question for Smithies will be, what about Corey Horsburgh, right? He's coming back next week. What's his role? He made the Origin side playing from lock last year. Now, a lot of Raiders fans are expecting Horsburgh to go back into the prop rotation. What does that mean for Smithies? Okay, say he holds starting lock position, because there's an element of, he's going to go to the bench or he's going to hold a lock position. Let's just say for now, if he goes to the bench, you don't really want him. I think he's actually going to keep that 13th spot. It's still early in the season. I have a lot of trades, so I can take that gamble. So I've gone Smithies. So let's assume that he has the 13th spot, right? I think he's going to get that Corey Horsburgh role from last year, 65 to 70 minutes. And he's shown at that PPM, he's had a 0.78 PPM, both in his trial game, where he scored 23 and 27 minutes and game one of the NRL season. So that's good enough for close to a 50 average, and he's priced in the high 30s. So he's a great pick. I actually think that he hopefully will keep the role at lock. And for this week especially, I think that he's probably on track for a 70, 80-minute performance again, and he could be a 60-point player. And I actually traded Cam Murray to him. And the reason I did that is I just wasn't confident in Murray being able to score 60-plus at the edge position over the next few weeks while he plays there, while Arrow's out. And I thought Smithies could match his scores for a few hundred K less. And that led me upgrade Leniu to Terrell's brother, Taylor May, to shore up my backs a bit. Now, coming to Terrell May, a lot of people are wondering about the minutes. So I actually did a massive deep dive into Terrell's minutes and the Roosters rotation in general over the finals games and the back 5-6 games of last year. So I've actually written this out. I don't have it in front of me because I did it at work. Clearly, hopefully my boss is not watching this. The kind of rotation when the Roosters are at full strength is that, say JWH goes off first at about 23 to 25-minute mark. Collins usually comes off at the 30-minute mark. And Wong was coming off at about 25, 30 minutes as well. And Nat Butcher was his second row partner. And Nat Butcher was playing 80 minutes, whereas Wong was kind of off after 25, 30 and back on with 25, 30 to go. So they're the kind of first three interchanges. And then, in the second half, you'd kind of see Collins come back on first, Brandon and Sandon Smith doing his change, Wong coming back on there for Angus or whoever. But the interesting thing to see was that May would kind of come on at the 25-minute mark for Jared Warrior-Hargreaves. And there was games where he didn't come off, like in round one, he didn't come back. He didn't go back off. He came on after 25 minutes and played 55. And in the finals, he played he like the two finals games, he actually came on after 25 minutes and he played out the game. Now, that's a bit hard to read into because in the finals games, they had injuries. Like they had Suoli get HIA and didn't come back into the game. They had a couple, I think Manu went off injured. So again, like week one with injuries, it's really hard to tell what Terrell May looks like. But after doing my analysis, I suspect the rotation will be something like, and I'll talk about Wong and Tupanua as well, just because I know people are interested in their minutes. Terrell May is probably going to come on after 20 to 25 minutes, maybe 20 minutes as Jared Hargreaves is aging and he's getting back up to speed. But Jared Warrior-Hargreaves was actually averaging 47 minutes last year compared to Lenny, who only played 42 minutes in week one. So I think after 22 to 23 minutes, you'll see May come for Warrior-Hargreaves. So he'll play about 15 to 20 minutes in the first half. I suspect then May will play 15, 20 minutes in the second half to get him up to 30, 40 minutes. And Warrior-Hargreaves will come back on at 55, 60. And then usually the Roosters use like a final sub in the last 5, 10 minutes. And I suspect Terrell May might come back on there. So what's going to happen is he's going to, depending on how much Warrior-Hargreaves plays, I think May could get anywhere between 35 to 45 minutes, which at his PPM is you just say 40 to 45 minutes, right, to be safe. Like he's playing so well, I doubt they only give him 35. So let's say 40 to 45 minutes. That's good enough for a 45 to 50 average. I just thought that his scoring is a lot more volatile. Like he could score 60 in 40 minutes, 50 in 50 minutes. He could have maybe a high 30-minute game and score 35, 40. Whereas I thought Smithies would just, with the dual position, really won out for me. And the fact that is, I could probably just wait one more week on Terrell. Let's see how he goes. Hopefully full strength. Hopefully no injuries to the Roosters pack. So that's, I think, Terrell's role. But we've also seen that in that second finals game, he scored 84 points in about 55 minutes. So this guy is a fantasy freak. He offloads the ball a ton. I'm talking go back to the Trent Merrin days where the guy would just get touched, and as soon as he'd get touched, he'd throw one out the back, and there you go, just racking up offloads, or Felina Mateo or Bryce Cartwright style. I mean, he's got crazy work rate as well. He makes a lot of tackles. He doesn't have many negatives in his game at all. So in base stats alone, he can go at close to 1 point a minute. And then when he's on those games where he's offloading and breaking tackles, he can easily get up to 1.2, 1.3 points a minute. So if he's playing 45, 50 minutes, I think there's going to be games where he's scoring 40 to 45, just base stats, but then there's going to be these explosive games like last week where he scored 62 in 55 odd minutes that really get his average up. So after saying all this, I kind of wish I had Terrell May, but I'm hoping Smithies at least this week can get me a 60 plus, because that is PPM. Smithies, if he plays 80 minutes, he'll get 61 on points. So that's the analysis there. So Smithies versus May, I think May will be a lot more fun to own for sure. I think Smithies, if you think he's going to play that Corey Horsburgh role, I think he'll be very stable. He's going to just score you 45 to 55 every week. He's pretty much going to be Corey Horsburgh from last year. What he does less in offensive stats. I think there's going to be games where if he's played 65 minutes, he's going to do 60 tackles. I think you're going to see games like that, especially in grind fests and as winter comes, it's colder and a bit more rain and things like that. So I think if you believe Smithies keeps that lock role and Corey Horsburgh goes back into the proper rotation, you go Smithies. I think if you think Smithies keeps that lock role and goes to 50 minutes to share with all the thing with the Raiders, right? They've not only got Horsburgh coming back, they've got Whitehead coming back, which might push Hosking to share minutes in the middle. Josh Popperley and Tarpanay already played big minutes. Hudson Young is 80 minutes. They've got Mariota. They've got Starley, who sometimes plays at lock. It is a log jam for forwards in Canberra. People are telling me that. But then I say, look at the Roosters, man. They're just as log jam. I'm going to talk on Satili and Wong now. So last year with Wong playing, most games he'd come off after 25 and then played 25 in the second half as well. So 50-odd minutes. And then Nat Butcher would play 80. So if you think Satili's playing the Nat Butcher role, Satili plays 80. But there's also a world where Nat Butcher comes on after 25 for Wong. So Wong, 25 minutes, goes off the Butcher. And then with 25 minutes to go, Wong comes back on. But instead of Butcher going off, it's Satili. Then they all kind of play 55 minutes, and it's trash for everyone, right? So I think it's 50-50, like either Satili plays 80 or Satili plays 55-60, because Wong's going to come back on for one of them. And they've just re-signed Butcher to a long contract, and he's one of their like prodigal sons. As a Satili owner, I'm praying that he's the one staying for 80, but it would not surprise me at all if it's Wong coming back on for Satilia, and Butcher just plays out the game when he comes on. So there you go. That's my analysis on them. But like Roosters have a ton of guys. They've got Warrior Hargraves coming back, Lindsay Collins over plays big minutes. Nath White, Angus Crichton's going to be playing in the middle. Connor Watson had a massive game in reserves last week, 80 minutes at lock for 83 odd points. They obviously see him as a middle. Brandon Smith can play lock. Like both these teams, you've got these stud fantasy players stuck in log-jammed packs, and you're trying to guess who's going to play more minutes. Terrell May is a bit more volatile. He could have 35-minute games, but he's got a way better PPM and just more excitement, whereas Smithies could just be that guy who he's just continuously scoring 55, 50, 60, like just playing 65. And you don't notice him. He's just tackling his heart out. Only his owners notice him. But, hopefully my Smithies call goes off. I think they'll both do really well. But like either way, I think if they both do really well, and, for me, Horsburgh comes back next week. So I could just get Smithies this week. And then if he gets benched and Horsburgh is starting lock next week, I can just trade him straight to May. They'll be the same price. So, and that's if May gets the role that we're expecting, and it's a bigger minute role. So that's kind of why I prioritize the order of Smithies versus May, because then that way it's like a wait and see 1 week, and I can quickly switch because I'll get to see May for a week, and then I'll also get to see Smithies when Corey comes back. And then if I went the other way around and I went May first, because May's off the bench, it's actually a lot harder to assess his minutes, right? Like, so if I saw the team list next week and I saw Horsburgh starting at 13 and Smithies off the bench, it's really hard to see his minutes. Whereas May is just like always, like you know that Smithies is not going to get a big minute role if he's coming off the bench, right? But with May, you just never know. So that's kind of the order why I did things. Really, it's a coin flip. I just wanted that dual position as well. But yeah, that's my analysis on Smithies versus May. Let me know in your comments which one you chose. Let me know if you're avoiding both, and let me know if you've got both. And look, it's been a good start to the week 2 of the fantasy season. I traded out Murray for Smithies, like I mentioned before. Murray did all right, but he's priced at 60 odd, and I think at edge he's only a 50, 52 guy. And Pierre Cora nicely got back on track with a 40, which is good to see after his HI last week. And then Haas was just a Haas performance, 56 and 56 minutes, even carrying a knee injury. So great to see. Anyway, that's it from me, guys. Look out for more fantasy content. Share this with everyone that plays fantasy. We're trying to really grow the channel this year. We've seen a lot of love recently, so thanks a lot for the listeners giving us support. And as always, tune in for more fantasy content. Cheers, guys.